this year we developed a new feature, which means Sona UI, which highlights virtual network kind of things and flow trace functionality. I will talk about this later. And if we look at see the Sona architecture, there's OpenStack nodes, OpenStack, and Sona, which are consisting of OpenStack nodes and networking and UI applications, 3 applications. And down there you can see the OpenStack compute nodes, and according to the virtual hour scalability, we can have gateway node groups. On top of this one, at first OpenStack node initialized compute node and gateway nodes, which means that OpenStack node create virtual switch that is peer-linked to compute nodes, and create peer-linked to gateway node and peer router at the gateway node, and create tunnels between them. And after that, if I explain architecture according to the VM creation, at first Nova provisions virtual machine. At that time, so many neutron events occurs, such as network, subnet, port creation, and router creation, kind of that. And when upon receiving that REST events, neutron server is SNAP based external connection. So the OpenStack networking application sets SNAP related flows to gateway. Also, we have a virtual router on top of a gateway node. And each gateway node has virtual router in it, and combination with Quagga, and it can be acting as a BGP router. So with external BGP router, we can have SMP connection between them. So we have a linearly increased capacity when we add a gateway node. Also, there is an OpenStack networking UI, and which will be shown on next slide. So this is the new feature, Sona UI, which is developed last month, maybe. So when we talk about Sona UI architecture, Sona UI application, we should talk about traditional debugging, ONOS-based application to some environment, and we got trouble. In that case, what we usually do is open up the terminal and connect it to the host and type this sudo OVS flows minus option openflow 13 and bridge name, and you can see it like this. So it's because we have very good eye like eagle. So we finally find what's the problem, but it's really is the, especially in case when we have so many flows installed in it. So that's the intention of developing Sona UI. So we will end it when we see kind of this. So the intention is that what if we exactly filter the related flows, only the related flows are shown, we can debug very easily. So based on ONOS UI application, we develop overlay UI according to the ONOS architecture. So this is our testbed environment, which has 5 compute nodes and 2 virtual router. And when I mouse over this host, the Sona UI highlight the related links which are connected to the same virtual network. And when we, in this case, when we choose this one, 10 as a source IP, 10.1.1.111, and take this 10.2.239 as a destination, and when we click this, we can request a flow trace to the server. So if we got response from REST server, we can have a kind of this one. Only the related flows are shown it from source VM to destination VM. So if we look at this, some import rule and some tunnel ID encapsulation, go to tunnel table 1, 3, 4, 5, and out, and that traffic arrived to compute 4, and table 1, 3, 4, 5, and finally that traffic goes to the VM. So instead of seeing kind of this one, we can see only the first one we want to see. So it's very easy to understand and easy to debug. Also, if you see this button, and this button, we can also support trace to the gateway node, which means virtual router, and also trace to its tunnel. Also, when a trace fail occurs, we highlight that what table we doesn't hit using our. And when I mouse over this one, you can see related links which are connected to virtual network. Also, another one. Also, if we mouse over the device, our UI shows all the hosts which are connected to that device, and this number means virtual network ID, which means VXLAN ID. So you don't have to open OpenStack Horizon UI to know what is the virtual network ID of that host. So also, if you click host, you can see the V9. So in this case, trace to gateway and external supported. So this one is selected as a source, and this one is selected as a destination. And I click request, and I got a response kind of something like that. So I can easily show what's the exact flows, the traffic hits. So, and if we click gateway, we click request, and you can see the flows. And so if we click trace to external, actually 8.8.8.8 Google DNS server at this moment, and that's the result. So I can know there is no problem and my app is working correctly using this UI. Also, this is another new feature done by my colleague in SK Telecom, and XOS-based NFV framework. At this moment, we only develop LB as a service and Firewall as a service on top of XOS, and XOS and upon receiving the REST API, XOS deploy LB and Firewall using as a containerized way using Courier plugin, and that events go to Newton OpenStack, and Sona got that REST event which port created, and the VMs will get part of the service they are needed. So actually, if you want to know about this detail, you can come our booth maybe tomorrow. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you.
first, thank you for your nice presentation. And also, I know that currently the ONOS itself provide the subsystem for network virtualization. So,
Yes.
but in this presentation, I just understand that SONA is an application for virtual network. So I wonder if whether the SONA can be interact with the virtual subsystem in ONOS.
Actually, at this moment, virtual network subsystem doesn't support the integration between ONOS and OpenStack at this moment. And our SONA project is focused on OpenStack integration, which means we got neutron REST event and deal with it. But virtual network subsystem is focused on another kind of virtual network virtualization scheme. The different scheme. SONA supports neutron network model, so that's the difference. Maybe Sang-Yun can answer the roadmap. I think there is some roadmap to interwork OpenStack with ONOS from using a virtual network subsystem.
Okay, I'll explain later.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anyway, this is different project. Yes.
So very impressive work. I have a question. So you've been developing this for 3 years almost, and
Yes.
you mentioned,
Yes.
are you using it for your internal operation to support your operations and service? If not, why not, and when do you plan to do that?
The answer to why not means the operator will support for VXLAN based network virtualization scheme to their own network. As far as I know, in Korea, there is no operator who adopt VXLAN based network virtualization to their network. Rather, they are just using provider network, which are very basic neutron model. So, if we want to use VXLAN based network virtualization scheme, we should solve the data path performance problem. Also, usually when we as a mobile telco provider, we usually use very data traffic intensive VNF, such as EPC and P gateway, S gateway, DPI, or something like that, and that VNF needs a very high data performance. So they are still using PCI pass-through or SRIOV, something like that, which are not capable of supporting VXLAN. So I think if we want to support VXLAN based network virtualization, we should service public cloud. Yeah. In case of a public cloud, we must use that network virtualization scheme, kind of, such as VXLAN and VLAN, something like that. But when it comes to telco and private cloud network, as far as I know, the data plane performance problem should be solved as first. So that would be an answer.
Also, adding to his answers, actually we have developed this for network slicing, which is kind of key component of the 5G, right? Mm-hmm. So, but actually there are many ways to implement network slicing. So if we really implement network slicing using VXLAN-based network virtualization, and then as he said, maybe we need to just add some data plane installation, and then probably we should be able to use this for our technology.
So in preparation for 5G world.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you.
different type of service which has different type of requirement, not only traffic speed, but also different type of service level agreement. So another point is operator can control also from the ear, the M code, and demonstrate. It's good, it's a good effort, and going to that, but we found that many things need to be matured for commercialized service. Basically, we also had some mobile SDN project with Asketelco 2015, and this very similar concept is applied in the M code architecture. Basically, everybody do this kind of thing. There is some higher level orchestrator and the ONOS, OpenStack, and the Fabric, and the VNF. The VNF can be mobile VNF, and especially 5G, and the edge cloud, there can be some core user-friendly operation can be inside the edge cloud. So when it comes to some commercial deployment, it requires many additional effort, and we also focus on high the open networking, say maybe some open flow based Wi-Fi. But when it comes to commercialization, it requires we need to support tier 1 just open flow or other some switch, Cisco, G4, and so on. And XOS is not enough to support end-to-end some orchestration and network pricing. We need to develop and telco-driven services for the orchestration. And very important thing is this side, and we found a very interesting thing, and there are many overlap functionality between SDN switch operation and the core user-friendly operation. That we can make it re-architecture of the existing core data frame, especially data frame functionality, and the offload the data frame functionality into SDN switch. And so we can make some new VNF, and the code architecture, coming into the code architecture is making some common platform from the legacy hardware-based architecture into software-based new central office. And we can make some vast migration, not only service assurance, but also NAT, TAP, load balancing, and so on. There can be a very good attempt to migrate to commercial grade 5G services. Okay. So when I asked Soyeon, my boss, how can I make my presentation? You can demonstrate our product. But I know that this is developed for some conference, so if you have any question, please stop and raise your hand. But I need to explain our Samsung product based on my boss's order. Just kidding. We have four core philosophy. First thing is openness, and we can support multiple vendors which router support. Cisco, Juniper, Arista, Dell, anything. So since we have the various type of automation technology, making RESTful interface, NetConf, SNMP, OpenFlow, anyone that we can do. But if the SK Telecom or KT or some other service provider ask some optimization of the supporting new switch, we can do it within someone. That is our core competence. And other thing is we also compare the existing SDN, the solution, the Cisco, ACI, Juniper, and so on. That we can definitely say that we are the only one solution can support overlay and underlay network automation. So we can support underlay and overlay network automation at the same time. So there was the discussion about the VHLAN. So existing 5G deployment to pass through and SRIB, but I can say that if we support high speed OVS DPDK based solution, we can definitely VHLAN. We can also offline VXLAN into the 5G or next generation STM-based architecture. And VXLAN has pros and cons. I think that one of the most advantage of using VXLAN is decoupling the overlay and underlay network. There is also some disadvantage, and we cannot see some inner flow of UV, special type of network, but that we can make dummy pipe, especially LEAP and spine fabric. There is nothing to do, just the UDP-based packet forwarding is enough. So there are many pros and cons, but the important point, as Diane told, and the performance of OBS DPTK is very important. But Samsung has our high performance proprietary OBS DPTK. We integrate manual OBS DPTK SDN, everything into our solution. That is our core competence. And this is Umeå campus. We have our own designer, and I think that 3D is not only for cosmetic visualization, but also very important, because now everybody talks to network pricing and trend orchestration, but the important thing is how to abstract the information based on the level. So we can zoom in, zoom out. The operator wants to see the different type of information level based on the scale. We need to support from small central office to large scale, the core cloud data center. So we think that 3D-based some orchestration and management solution very important key point. And also, when it comes to some programmability and automation, there are some kind of level. First, initial deployment automation, but important thing is usual daily operation is very important. For example, fault performance, and as Daniel told that there is a problem, troubleshooting, root cause analysis, and that is the most in router. So next thing is to do that, and we realize that ON.Lab, the open flow certification is not enough, because we found, hey, give me the switch, open flow switch, but switch band told that we can support open flow, but when it integrates with ONOS controller, it doesn't. Sometimes it can't support. The reason the state machine is different. So we developed our own open flow certificate architecture with open flow spec and ONOS controller, Samsung ONOS controller, and Google local framework. Make it as our own test framework, and we give, whenever we release new open flow supporting hardware switch, network OS, we test and release a test report to the switch partner, and they can, we have the problem, and they can upgrade their network OS, and so that's why we can have some hegemony, and every some network switch vendor want to collaborate with ONOS-based with some open flow collaboration. This solution I explained sometimes, and since we support various types of some SDN suite, we integrated day zero configuration and so-called zero touch provisioning. So supporting that, we have multiple types of the signature management by our own SDN management system. Just turning on the switch, and after connect the management and cable, data cable, turning on the switch, we can automatically recognize the type of hardware vendor and dynamically assign the management IP address. That's it. We don't need to do anything. Yeah, this is the concept of our 3D. So we are this year very important use case is network slicing, and whole network slicing is really very, very important. So I will show via the demo. And this augmented reality, we sometimes show with various type of terminal, not only this laptop, both tablet PC and mobile equipment. And since we support device management, it is very useful for network operator having those kind of things, the 3D based orchestration and zoom out. well defined, and when it comes to our data center, we can easily find that, oh, there is a fault in this port and link error, and we can easily find out. So since we need to support better type of data scale of the data center, type of data center, the central office, and large scale data center, and the talent user experience is very important. So based on the Zoom level, we can support the diverse of the information. Okay, I will skip that. So sometimes our customer like this feature because they are very accustomed with some network element management system. We also give the network element system and the support to some multiple type of switch and router, and we have topology browser concept and the switch management. This is backside hardware management, and this is OBS/DPDK management. So this year, especially for 5G services, many service providers want to have project, especially some network slicing and end-to-end service assurance. By last year, our service assurance solution can be applied into wide network, but this year, our solution can interact with this mobile phone. So we can manage, that means we can manage from our virtualized appliance to the mobile appliance, including the air quality, end-to-end air quality. That is very important. So we next month we have a plan to have a big announcement with some SK Telecom with the multi-lab network slicing, including service assurance. Why service assurance is important is, as I already explained, and the fault and performance monitoring is pain point of the service provider, and there are many devices, even IoT devices, we need to manage. The management of those kind of things is very important. Sometimes, without automated some orchestration framework, it is not easy to manage that. So, second thing is SLA management. There are two types of SLA management in our legacy deployment. We found the critical issue. When we launched our LT system into some India, but our some turnkey partners is Cisco, and they support the backhaul router or switch, and there was a problem. But we cannot receive money from our customer, but we need to isolate. There is SLA issue between the Samsung, ONOS, and the Cisco router. How to find out the fault and SLA issues is very critical for us business, and we found that is very big business, and Accidian Network and Exco were some Spirant, and many vendors that come into that market, and they call that business area service assurance appliance. But I cannot definitively say that very without SDN and orchestration platform, it is very difficult to, because nowadays everything should be interact with the platform. So the data is from the service assurance can be have a closed loop and receiving the data from assurance appliance, and with the big data system is coming into some SDN. So SDN can control to optimize the network to meet SLA. So we show many kinds of some virtualized service or assurance appliance that is composed of our VNF, and when we launch our some core VNF, 5G, 4G VNF, the virtualized gateway, we make the network service, and that is VNF folding graph or something else, L2 or L3. We instantiate that, and it can control or manage not only this data center, but also outside the data center, backhaul network, and any devices which can support the standard protocol, T1, and Y.1731, any of the standard protocol. We can support the more than 70 metric, and nowadays when it comes to network slicing, we can measure and control the per lot, and lot means some LTE and multiple type of frequency of 5G devices. So final thing is network slicing, and this year so we are focusing on the network slicing, and as I mentioned, and there are different type of 5G services which has different type of service requirement, and VNL. Each characters can be different, and we need to control different type of SLA, but the service provider like SK Telecom cannot extend their infrastructure. And the real estate is the same. Sometimes the 4G and 5G should have the same central pit. So SDN technology is very important to manage making the slice network and to control the SLI. This is the overall conceptual architecture, and we have our own SDN controller ONOS, SDN orchestrator, and full ONOS stack, and the EMS, and end-to-end orchestrator which has network slice major control. Here, everybody. But our first target is some edge and central cloud data center, which is type of data center. So there are multiple ways of supporting the network slicing, and we can support core slicing or LAN slicing, but this year we have some end-to-end multi-lot network slicing. So internal technology, I cannot leave it. There is something with SK Telecom, but we can support based on SDN technology, and processing GTP tunnel is required, and also some dynamic QoS, some automation to meet SLA is required, and we will show those kind of use cases. But I prepared some many video clips, but because of time limit, I cannot show the video clip. I'm very sorry about that. Okay. The important thing is the demo, and okay, I'll skip our some SDN the platform. First thing is plug and play. We have a multiple type of signature, and Cisco, or Arista, or Edge Core, and those kind of some zero touch provider signature is managed by our SDN solution. Okay. Now we go into Cisco switch and remove configuration and reboot. I believe I remember that previously I showed a similar demo with Edge Core and OCP belt, and now I'm showing the demonstration with the worldwide used Cisco NIK. And it takes some minute because it reboot, and now it's done. Then automatically we know there is Cisco router, and dynamically we assign the management address to the Cisco router. So we run the Cisco router and make a connection to the open flow, and our orchestrator can. Now we export. We have the day one configuration of the heterogeneous switch, and they configure everything, and it starts. The cable connection should be there, management and the talent network cable, and we will automatically run that make the Okay. This is virtual switch, our high-speed USB BTK and leaf and spine switch. And now the add, and we will show add device. We add one device and delete device. Just removing button, then we can the delete device. So we applied our some SM solutions, the 3D orchestration solutions, not only data center, SM, but also end-to-end orchestration. So we can support various type of switch management device, electrical, Cisco, Arista, blah blah. Our designer take to hold on night to support that. Well, this is virtual switch. It's very interesting. The integrated bridge and pipe bridge, and this is our some mini map, like the stack map. So we can support various type of Zoom level 1, 2, going to 3. So we can see the port information and to say hello to everyone. And if we search Samsung into, we have more than one page SDN new application which is not contribute to the ONOS community. I'm very sorry about that. Yeah, so next we will show overall network automation integrated with our NLP orchestrator. This is our NLP manual orchestrator. We have designed the so-called VNF forwarding graph at ETSA Center and designed VNF forwarding graph, and we are now designing of network service with 4G gateway and virtualized service assurance appliance. We are making that. After that, we start instantiation of that. Our beautiful NLP orchestrator is already commercialized in KT, Pyeongchang 5G, hopefully SK Telecom one product. So, the same concept is large scale view to support large scale data centers such as Facebook, Google. We support large scale view. Here the server based large scale view is showing, and now we can see end-to-end services created from this VM, the virtual switch, leaf spine, and click to how SDN control the path, VM to VM path, and next inside the server, the SDN can control the path within this server, which is with the BTK. So we can also support passive monitoring of link speed, and now we will show the amazing our BT service assurance. I heard that SK Telecom purchased more than 600 hardware-based service assurance appliance, but now the SK Telecom don't need to purchase hardware-based service assurance appliance. This is the same functionality like the Xia and Spira. We are running not only the TIAN protocol and can support various type of setup protocol. Okay, we started the QoE diagnosis using one of the de facto standard network performance measurement protocol T1, and now we can see end-to-end more than 70 metric, and each hop by hop the traffic status with link coloring. We can easily detect the network status and the fault. Okay, this is very similar with the packet generator when it comes to analysis mode. We can support the 6 metric that we can see, or we click this and the very detailed some graph for each metric, but we can support more than 70 metric. Every second we can get the statistics information. It's very useful. I will show the use case with the seamless parallel. We will cut up that path. Okay, we will cut up that path. What happened? And I will speed up. Since we are supporting now the reactive coding mode, and we found that there is packet loss, maybe one packet loss, and we can see the graph of packet loss, and the QoE value is decreased and the bandwidth little bit. And this is one of the use cases we can easily have some root coded analysis of inside the data center or some outside the data center. That we can support. We are now our commercial package is based on the JUCO, can support the HA services and clustering. And so based on that KT request, we also support Braid's device view. This is nothing new. The big lead switch, and Braid switch also has the internal connection. And this is the use case. We can do our customization service whenever our customer wants new supporting of new services, new switches. We can do it. And this demonstration actually is for KT Pyeongchang 5G preparation. We also making new network service with MEC video client. The MEC video client is inside here. We learn our core VNF, and there is core, and there is also router. We can do SA control the border rate router, which control the VXN termination, and we will see what happened. This is the request from the outside the data center to the MEC server. That we can see 4K video, which can be shown in the Pyeongchang Olympics for both like 4K video. And we can monitor this kind of flow and from the border rate and the one UHD section and the passive monitoring with the multi-tenancy. I think I will show one simple thing, a conceptual demonstration. I'm very sorry about that. Why I'm sorry is I looked young, but I'm almost 50 years old now. I cannot see small. Yeah, sorry. And this is network slicing some project and with SK Telecom. Multi-route network slicing. For one UE service, we can have a multiple policy, but for one UE, is installed in Ulchiro now in Seoul. And one UE can select the service of 3 routes. One is 5G 28 gig, 5G 3.5 gig, and LTE. We can dynamically select the control for route slices. So we are showing that with the 3D some network slicing management, the frequency domain, the slice, how the traffic is going. I will go back. Yeah. So we can analyze it. Graph is a 3D based graph, and this is each frequency domain because it requires X, Y, Z domain frequencies. For the throughput analysis, we also support 3D basis chart. And I will go back and do this service assurance. This is going to the data center, to UE, including air quality. We will show how we're going to, we can check delay, jitter to the air, including air quality, and dynamically showing the diagnosis to the user equipment can be smart car in the Ulchiro SK Telecom. There is one more thing. This is open flow conformer with Google Local Framework, and we can support that. I also explained why we need this open flow conformer stand. I want to receive money. Actually, the 2 lakh in this conference, I received all the equipment free of charge from the switch vendor. I think that is 10 times than my 1 year salary. But they are ready to give. They want to have the conformance certification from the Samsung for the ONOS controllers. So you can do the test automation about the basic or some hundred of SDN standard, and we can this kind of matching action, the packet action has issue, it's fine to that switch. And that is only good, I think that one of the good way to develop our community. Thank you. I think
Any questions? So we will.
Just a quick note. Just a reminder: we have a reception tonight, and I mentioned that. Well, I forgot to mention that we have extra tickets. So if you want to join us tonight for the reception at the K Hotel, you can go to the reception registration desk and ask for a ticket if you don't have one already, and just show your badge. And we still have a few, so just go there, and hopefully when you get there, they will still have tickets. Okay, sorry.
So next session will start from 5 p.m. So now is coffee time.
I